a mounting member on my SX4, which is rotten. It's actually to the point where it's actually severed here under the car. It's rotten so badly. I think this is a pretty common issue actually on SX4s. I suspect they're probably a bit of a garbage trap inside, and they kind of rot from the inside out. Once I have the old one out, you'll see just how extensively damaged it is. It is an absolute disaster. It's a mess. This is an interesting piece of structure itself because it basically carries the load from the forward engine mount, splits it between the forward cross member where this end is mounted to, and it's kind of transferred back to the suspension mounting frame on the aft edge here. This particular piece here, guys, this is for my car, of course, which is an all-wheel drive manual transmission variant. There is a distinction between the two-wheel drive models, four-wheel drive models, manual drive, and automatic transmissions. So this is the part number. Again, manual transmission, 5-speed, and it is all-wheel drive. This will not fit your car if it doesn't conform to those to that configuration. There's variations on how this is a stud in this case, but it can be a bolt, again depending on what kind of configuration you have. It's different. Okay, be aware there is different configurations: manual, 5-speed, all-wheel drive in this case. Okay, yeah, the nuts for the studs have those, or at least 2 of them. New bolts, sorry I don't have the part number for that, and new bushings for these, just rubber bushings, go above and below the structure here. These nuts are absolutely bitched on my car. There's nothing left of them basically, so this could be a bit of a challenge to remove these. How do I safely remove this without having facility to suspend the engine, because of course this is a forward engine mount? I think I'll suspend it from the top, but I can do it from the bottom, the engine I'm talking about. Suspend it from the top with a crossbar, but I can do it from the bottom if required, but I'd rather do it from the top to keep everything out of my way, I think. But again, we'll deal with these challenges as they come. I've got some extractors in order to remove these perished nuts on the old one, and yeah, we'll get the car skyward and see how it looks. Right, so the car is up on jack stands and ramps. I'm getting old, so I need my comfort to some degree. Plus the floor is pretty cold in here. Yeah, so there's the forward engine mount, and there's a single long through bolt that goes through the bushing here, the rubber shock mount. I might actually try and remove that and take the whole thing down. That might be easiest. 2 bolts here that connect the mount member to the front cross member here. I'm hoping those bolts don't give me any grief. And yeah, so on the underside. Yeah, so here's the extent of the corrosion, right? It is a disaster. Like I said, to the point where it's actually broken there. You can see where it's actually completely there's a loss of continuity in the structure, shall we say. Yeah, so there's 2 studs and nuts that attach the mount carrier to the member. As I said, hopefully I can do that with it removed because it's a bit tricky. I'll try and show you. Those are the 2 nuts and the studs. You can see there's nothing left of them, right? It's not like you're going to put a standard socket on there and just turn those off. So I'm expecting a bit of grief with those. So I'll just show you here quickly, guys, because I have very limited access to the inner fender wall here as far as engine suspension crossbar is concerned. I just decided to go with my mini scissor jack here and shim it up under the oil pan, as you can see. Come on. Okay, so we just the intake duct removed. Get a wee bit of access here. So I don't know if you can see, sorry, I'll try and zoom in on it. Yeah, there's the head of the bolt that goes through the mount here. And yeah, it's pretty tight, as you can imagine. So I don't want to snap this and cause myself you know, a world of grief. So I think I'll work it back and forth if I can get it to move at all with my Johnson bar here, and then I'll try and work it back and forth with my impact. Don't try with this without the engine being unloaded from the mount, of course. And then it goes into oblivion. Not too bad. Wee bit of undercutting on it there. Okay, so if I understand the installation correctly here from the drawings, the two bolts there, I think the cross member is internally threaded. There doesn't appear to be any other means of fastening these bolts, so I'm hoping I can just spin these out. I get a chance to use the ludicrously long extension, and yeah, 14 mil, as was the through bolt on the engine, forward engine mount there. Yeah, these feel like they're ready to break at any second here, guys. So I've just got, as I said, my ludicrous extension on. I'm just working that back and forth with the Johnson bar. I can't film this, obviously. But I'll just work it back and forth. I do not want to shear these bolts. Yes. Oh shit, it's sheared. Oh fuck. Oh no, it's not. I was expecting a longer bolt than that. It's the same as the new one. Oh, that's got to be sheared. That's not right. Or is that? Maybe it is right. Sure as hell looks sheared. No, it's not. I was expecting a wee bit more of a... That's like extremely flat finish on the end of the bolt. I was expecting a wee bit more of a convex, but yeah, it's fine. Brand new. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Shit, that sure as hell looks sheared when I first saw it, I can assure you. But it's not, it's fine. Yeah, so far so good. Getting a wee bit worried things are going a wee bit too good here. So this should be free to move here. I'll just pry it out. Assuming, of course, I can get the circular portion of the mount through the pickup, and enough clearance to get it down through the floor here. You might be better off taking the plastic off. My plastic is smashed below here, so I have some access, but you may have to remove it. All right. The observant amongst you guys will notice I've had to reposition the little scissor lift there to get it clear of the structure. All right, I think I was banging up against the little scissor lift there. I think I can get it on. One-handed, baby. So here's the structure. You can see it's right at the thin kink here is where it's actually decided to let go. I suspect this is probably frontal collision control as well. Looking at how complex the structure is, I suspect it's designed to collapse in a particular manner, you know, so you don't end up wearing the engine, I'm guessing. Yeah, this is fine. The little end caps are just off. The mount itself is all okay in there. So yeah, two studs And I'll just buzz those off. Again, I'll work them back and forth. I do not want to damage them because I have to reuse those nuts. 14 mil again. Good. I just marked the aft edge of the mount there, guys, just in case it's symmetrical and I end up mounting it backwards and buggerize it. So yeah, again, just to be clear, guys, there's the front cross member. It is, as you can see, internally threaded, so the bolts will thread straight into that. With respect to the detail on the bushing stack here, you've got the two rubber isolators in between. I'll clean these up, of course, on the wire wheel. There is the steel bushing proper, and then there's the flat washer on top of the whole rig. Right, hope that makes sense. Shown on the drawing, I'm sure. Right here, bolt, washer, rubber bushing, the mount member itself, and then of course the rubber bushing on the bottom, and it threads into the cross member, not shown. So again, there's just nothing left of these nuts here, guys. I think I'm not even going to bother trying to put a regular socket on. I'm just going to hammer on the extractors and see if I can get this out. Yeah, we're sorry, obviously too close here, but we're just doing a stub here of what was left from it. Right, this is clearly the aft portion that is broken off. So just a matter of trying to extract these two nuts from the studs. So I've got the extractor here, and I've got my big Jesus Johnson bar on it. I have no faith that this is going to come up, but let's see. It feels like it's turning, unbelievably. Either that, the stud is turning. Holy jumping, I'll tell you, I don't impress easily. But that extractor just took that, I mean, look at the state of that. Yes, it's mashed up, of course, from the extractor, but there was nothing left of it. And that actually spun it out. First time I've ever used these extractors, to be honest. Wow. Amazing. I guess that wasn't doing much, huh? Not much left of it, you know. Yeah, you can clearly see there's been a fair chunk missing for some time. There's nothing new broken here. This has been broken for some time. I only noticed it, I don't know, a month ago or something. That's been gone for a long time. I didn't notice it, to be quite honest. But again, I think it's for front end claps. Timing, you know, again, so the engine's not in your lap in the event of a serious front end collision. And I suspect it transfers the torsional load back to the suspension mount as well, as opposed to just constantly torquing the front cross member. Just a thought. Anyway, I'm gonna, because this is obviously corrosion prone, subscribe to a young fella. I think he's Repair Geek. I don't know, I think it's Repair Geek. Obviously a brilliant young fella, and he seems to have done a lot of research on different products out there. You know, in the past I've used Disney Meyer, a bunch of different products, but he swears by this. It's a lanolin based, which is basically grease from sheep wool. Strangely enough, people find a use for it now. Yeah, so I'm gonna you know, treat the inside of it as much as I can to get in the cavity, and probably the outside as well. Okay, she's all gooped up on the inside, well, as much as I could get it in there, you know. Yeah, so here's the bushings cleaned up, of course. The two rubber isolators on each end. Cleaned up the, where the hell are they? Washers. The washers here. This will go from this side, of course. So, and the new bolt. So just so you're following the stack here. So it'll go this way when I reassemble it on the car, right? This, of course, is the bottom end. Okay, so the easiest way to do this, guys, although there was no way I could film it, need both hands to wrestle everything in position, is remove the front engine mount here, keep it out slide the mount member in position. Then put the, with everything still adrift, put the engine mount in position, and then get the 2 studs in position and torque those up. Then you can position everything else, and it'll go together and make sense in that manner. If you try to put this, install this initially, and then wrestle it in position, nah, it's not going to work. So you're going to have to keep this adrift, get the member in position, minus the mount, then put the mount in position, the 2 studs down, the 2 nuts to secure it, torque those up, and then position the studs in the back, and then install the through bolts on the front cross member here. I've got everything just hand tight at the moment, guys. The reason being, the engine itself is still unloaded. I'm going to drop the engine onto the mount proper, and then I'll torque everything up and into its final torque specs. Sorry, I know my drawing's getting a wee bit difficult to see here, guys. So again, the mount, the 2 studs that come through, that's D, and they were torqued to 47 foot-pounds. And I'm going to go under and do the 2 back studs. Let me get the right configuration here on my drawing. Jesus, I'm getting lost here. This is my configuration with the 2 studs going through, which is C. I'll do those 2 back studs to 40 pounds. And the through bolt itself also is item C, which is also 40 pounds. So that's the through bolt on the mount, just a single through bolt. And the two bolts that hold the mount member via the bushings to the front cross member, that is D. So it's also 47 foot-pounds. Okay. What was I going to mention here? Yeah, this is not difficult, guys. It's just a matter of taking your time and figuring out, you know, there is an order of operations in order to ever get all the square pegs into the round hole type thing. But it's no difficult, you know, just take your time and don't break anything to start with and make things difficult for yourself. Okay, so one last overview of everything. Again, through bolt on the engine mount, the 2 studs on the mount itself, and the nuts, of course, are torqued. The through bolts that go through the mount member proper and mount everything through the washer, the rubber isolation member, then there's the mount member, and then the rubber isolation member, and then of course the threads are in the cross member itself. So everything's all torqued up there, finally torqued, all final torqued. That's what the nice shiny. Okay, so those are the 2 nuts. They need to be torqued, 47 foot-pounds. And the 2 back ones here, these 2 nuts are 40 foot-pounds. So that's it. Everything's done. Back in position. I've got as much, you know, rust shield on stuff, but 13 years too late, I guess. Anyway, I didn't like that structure being broken because it is there for a reason, guys, even though I was completely unawares for God knows how long. But Suzuki didn't put there because they felt like spending a bit of extra money. It's there for a reason. Again, I think it's for impact, front impact control, and transferring the torsional stress from the front member to the suspension mount. Right, and there's my light dying just on cue, so I'll leave it at that. That's it, boys. I hope that makes some sense to somebody. Cheers.